We are at Forever Branded, and we are honored today to have a 10-time Extreme Mustang Makeover trainer, Mr. Jeff Cook, with us today. Welcome, Jeff.
Hi, Ann. Thank you for having me.
We are so glad you're here, and I have lots of questions for you. You've had an interesting new year this year with your horse and Sweet 16. I wanted to make a comment that in 2021, Jeff was our 2021 Extreme Mustang Makeover champion in Oklahoma City. And we got to see him participate and compete. And Jeff, it's an honor to have you today. So I'm going to start right out asking you, since this is Tuesday, and you always do the Tuesday trainer tip, I'm going to ask you to give us a Tuesday Mustang tip of the day.
Oh, I wasn't ready for that. I would say right now, my vet right now is down in the barn working on teeth on a Mustang. And he's a 5-year-old that came out of the pens, and he's been out for a little while, and we just started riding him, and he's got a little bit of issues with tossing his head and gapping his mouth and stuff. And he has wolf teeth that need to be pulled, and he needs to have those teeth floated because he's got some sharp points and stuff. And I think it's when they get to the trainer, because sure enough, almost every time we're going to be looking at those teeth if we're having training issues. And a lot of times that is where our problem is. So instead of us banging our head against the wall, we can get the teeth done and solve that problem. Save money.
Get your teeth done. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Jeff. Now, coming to the Mustang world, from being a farrier and a scuba diver instructor, how do you think those two occupations that you had before help prepare you for what you do next?
Well, you know, I along with being a scuba instructor and a farrier, I've trained horses since I was a little kid, so I wasn't coming at it completely cold. And I had some Mustang experience in the past. My folks had a dude ranch in Colorado that we had some Mustangs that we used on the ranch, and we got them through the prison program in Canyon City, Colorado. And they were a little bit rough, so we ended up having to put quite a bit of work into them to get them ready to use on the ranch. So there's that. I think the dive instructor aspect has taught me pretty well how to communicate and how to try to communicate clearly, whether it be with horses or with people. I try to make sure that my communications are always clear and concise. As far as the farrier business goes, well, you know, you have to know anatomy pretty well. You have to understand movement. You have to understand some biomechanics, and you know, that really helps us with that deal. Plus, it saves me a lot of money because I don't have to pay anybody to shoe my horses.
Absolutely, absolutely. We all need to take notes with you today, so this is great.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeff, your biggest surprise coming into the Mustang family. What's your biggest surprise?
I think, you know, I had a bit of a background showing some paints and quarter horses. I did that for a number of years, and it's very, very competitive. It's very money driven, and not everybody is your best friend. They might come off as kind of your good friend, but they're not always really, they don't always have your best interest at heart because everybody's competing for that check. And the Mustang thing is a lot different. I find it more of a family atmosphere. I think we're all in it for the horses, and so everybody is willing to kind of jump in and help each other. And I've got any number of phone numbers I can just pick up and call anytime I'm running into an issue somewhere with a horse, and I always get advice, and it's well easily given.
Perfect. I love that. I love that part. Now, what would you say that Sweet 16, who was your most recent Mustang that you did for the 2023 Mustang Magic, what would you say she taught you this year? And I know it was a rough start, and you had some questions about whether you were going to make it to Magic, and you were there, and what a great success story. So what did Sweet 16 teach you, Jeff?
Well, I'll give you some background on her. You're right. She was very difficult. It was the hardest Mustang that I've had for a makeover by far. She was very reactive, um, very quick footed. I mean, she could get out from under you in a heartbeat. And it didn't take a lot to set her off. And it was a long runner to the show. And like you said, I felt like kind of all along the way, am I going to pull the plug now, or are we going to keep going? We're going to pull the plug, or we're going to keep going. I would take her to some horse little local shows and places I try to haul her out. And one Sunday she'd show me, okay, I think I can do this, and then the next day after. So it was rough, and I just kept sticking with her. And it was really, by the time we got to the makeover, my biggest concern was where she's going to end up. I was really fearful for her ending up getting a good home and somebody being able to work with a horse like that was fractious and very emotional. And it turned out that I didn't do very well in the show. We had a couple of classes where we pretty good showing in. We were top 10 in the compulsory class, and I think I was 6th, 7th, and 19th in Mustang maneuvers. So there was a little judge discrepancy there that I don't know exactly why that happened. But at any rate, we didn't end up top 10, and that's fine. Didn't sell for a lot of money, and that really had me worried. And so I really didn't know the people that picked her up, but I got to meet them at the show, and they seemed like really good people. I really liked them. I liked them right off the bat. And after being home for a couple of weeks, they sent a bunch of videos of them and their little kids riding Lucy. We called her Lucy, Sweet 16. They're all Lucy around the pasture, riding her over obstacles and going over bridges and all kind of stuff that, always gave her a lot of pause. And here she is living in this incredibly beautiful place in Ocala, Florida, with a 10-acre pasture and a bunch of other horses and kids and dogs, and everybody loves her. And so it really made me feel like, that was worth it. It finally was worth it. We came home and I was like, man, I don't know if I even want to do another one of these, as hard as that one was. But now I would do another one in a heartbeat, because that horse got such a good home, and it really made it the adventure well worth doing.
Well, we're very proud of you. And you do a lot more than just the Extreme Mustang Makeovers. You have a great work with veterans. What do you think draws a veteran in with the Mustang? Can you explain that a little bit? I know a lot of people, and this is close to my heart. So tell me how that draws in that veteran and helps heal that veteran for us.
Well, I think horses, and especially Mustangs in particular, work really well for therapy animals and for veterans in particular. And one of the reasons why is veterans and Mustangs have a couple of things in common. And probably one of the biggest things is veterans hear all the time that people want to help them. We want to do something for you. We want to hear your story, right? And we'll start listening to that veteran until that story gets really deep and dark and it starts to really get ugly. And then we want to turn around and run and go the other way. And we don't want to really listen to that much of that. And so it's very similar with Mustangs. You talk to people out on the street and they're like, the average person is like, I didn't even know there were any Mustangs left, let alone what are we doing with them? And gosh, they're out there starving and hunting for water. And so, it's kind of the same as with the veterans, is that people want to hear that story about the beautiful wild Mustang running free out in the West and never having a care in the world. But when you start telling them the real story and how the plight of the Mustangs is really, it's a scary deal what might happen to these horses, and it's a rough life for them. And people don't want to hear that part. They want to hear the romantic part. So right away, the veterans and the Mustangs sort of have that connection right from the start. And no matter what, people can tell that veteran whatever he wants to hear, and we will oftentimes do that with people. We tell them kind of what makes us look good or what makes them feel good, or we try to just say things to smooth it over. That doesn't work with the horses. If the guy comes in there and he's angry or he's fearful or he's got a drug problem or any of those kind of things, that horse picks up on that right away. And he's not going to try to fool you and try to be your friend. He's going to take care of himself. And so he's honest. And I think that they need to see that honesty, and they need to see from a real bird's eye view of what they're bringing into the situation. And the horse will show them that.
Thank you so much for what you do. We appreciate it. We get to watch you on Facebook and how you help others and do stuff. And I'm extremely happy to have you on Forever Branded today. Let you tell your story. Obviously, to so many people, they'll know you don't do this for the money. You told us that getting the forever home for Lucy, Sweet 16, was the #1 thing. And we have to remind ourselves that. And so we're extremely proud of you, Jeff Cook, for what you did. And I know you had a little interesting time coming to Fort Worth to the Magic. You want to share a little bit about your endeavor that as you were on the way here? I think everybody'd like to hear that.
Sure. Yeah. So we were coming through Texas, and we were somewhere between El Paso and like Monahans, or somewhere up, I don't know, not Monahans, I don't know, somewhere Van Horn. So there's a border patrol checkpoint up there, and we're coming, we had a stock trailer, and we had a bunch of stuff in there and one horse, and we pulled through the border patrol checkpoint, and they waved us on through and said, "Have a nice day." And about 5 miles down the road, I noticed this white pickup truck was kind of riding up pretty close to the trailer, and he was kind of hanging on my side and was in a weird position. And looked at my wife, Kelsey, and I said, "This kind of looks like it could be a cop truck, but I don't know, didn't see any insignia on it. I couldn't see any stripe or anything like that." And he followed pretty close to me with us. And then I looked way back, and about 3 miles coming down the hill, you could see 9 patrol cars with their lights all flashing, and they were coming down the hill really fast. And I said to Kelsey, "Man, there's something big going on down here. I don't know what it is, but man, there's something huge." And about the time that all those lights got there, he pulled the other guy, white truck, and he turned his lights on me. And I just thought he just wanted me to pull over so we could let go all the, that big group. And Kelsey said, "Did you do something wrong? Do we have expired plates or something?" I said, "Honey, it's Border Patrol. I really don't think they care about expired plates or anything like that. And no, we didn't pick up any hitchhikers. So I think we're okay." So anyway, they pull us over, and all of a sudden, we get pulled over by 9 cars. They're surrounding us, man. They're all around us. Guys are jumping out of their cars, and the guy comes to the window and he asks me, he says, "Hey, I came after you and I pulled you over because the eye in the sky at the border check station saw human activity in the back of the trailer." And I thought for a second, and all of a sudden I just busted up laughing because I knew exactly what it was. So we had our props for our freestyle finals. If we had to do a finals routine, I had props, and one of them was this dummy, and it was a pretty realistic looking dummy. And he's a little bit fragile, so I didn't even think anything of it. He was just laying on the top of the hay in the back of the trailer, and they saw him with that camera. He went by, and I told the guy that's what it was. And he said, "All right, well, you have to get out and show it to us." So I got out and I asked him, I said, "Do you want me to open the door or do you want to?" And he said, "Oh, no, you're opening the door." And about 5 of them stood back with their hand on their guns waiting for me to open that door. And I did. And there's this dummy hanging there. And they had a really good laugh. They all took their picture with it. And they thought it made their day. And I don't know who was left in that Border Patrol checkpoint because there was 9 cars that came after us. So hopefully there was somebody left up there minding the store. But yeah, it made us a celebrity before we even got to the show. Everybody saw it. I think it got something like 2,000 shares on Facebook. So it went crazy.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. So I love that story. But I don't love it quite as much as that sweet Lucy finding a great forever home.
Yeah.
When you posted that, that just made my day. And Jeff, why do you do this? Why do you do the Mustangs and put up with getting a wild one and coming to a show and traveling and having a gamble whether you make it in the finals? You don't know if you're going to get money or what. Why do you keep doing it?
Well, I do it for the horses. I do it for recognition for the horses. I do have a heart for the Mustangs. They're survivors and they're scrappy and they're tough. And, they need our help and somebody's got to do it. And why not me? There's a point of pride too, in that really not very many people can do that. Get a horse ready to show in 100 days and do a decent job of it. It's a pretty tough deal. So, if you can do it, it's a great feeling. And I've got to do it several times, and we've been pretty successful at it, and it's been fun. So I'll keep doing it.
Well, that's music to my ears. So I'm glad of that. And we dearly love you and Kelsey, your sweet wife. I know when you do a makeover or magic, it's a family affair. Everybody gets involved in it. It takes a family to do all this. So Jeff, we're extremely proud of you. And I'm so grateful that you're forever branded and you got to be with us today and share a little bit of your story with Lucy, AKA Sweet 16. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ann. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.